So the poor are about to get poorer. About 38 million Americans have no clue what is about to hit them. And I want to share this with you and give you some insight as to what we are expecting to see very soon. Something happened today for the first time in history, and this is a pivotal moment. But this is a cause for concern for those that do not have assets, or what many people consider the poor Americans. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment, but understand one thing. We are going to see changes this year, and that is what many people have been predicting for many months. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So let's break it down. Why are the poor about to get poorer, which also means the rich are going to get richer? Well, it has to do with owning assets like stocks, businesses, and real estate. Look at this. Today, for the first time in history, the Dow Jones surpassed $40,000. Now, although it currently is sitting at $39,869.38 as of the close, it did top 40,000, went up to $40,040.65. It went up again, $40,043.05 before it started to go back down. Why is this such a big deal? Well, it's because of the rise of the Dow Jones. Look at this. This is what it was. So let's just go back to 2009 right here. It was $6,600. Let's go back to the crash. Okay, this is March 27th. It was $21,000. Before it was $28,000, dropped about $7,000. For people that own the Dow Jones, okay, that have a piece of this, piece of the pie, well, guess what? We're now sitting at all-time highs. That means the rich are getting richer. The poor that don't own this, well, you don't got a piece of the pie. But guess what? It gets worse because not everybody owns stocks. That's fine. But look at this. It says U.S. home prices have surged 47% since the start of 2020. Home prices rising at faster pace than the 90s and the 2010s. If you remember, home prices tanked in 2008, 2009. Okay? They're rising now. This is a concern because for many people, they don't have money to buy a home. Can't afford it. But here's the other thing, and this is why some are concerned. Because what if we see runaway inflation like a country like Venezuela? What happens then? Well, guess what? Who's going to benefit? Who's going to benefit from runaway inflation? People with stocks, people with real estate, people with businesses, the rich. The poorer people in the United States are going to feel the impacts. Now, I want to show you something else. Look at this. It says percentage of U.S. mortgages considered seriously underwater rises. Now, seriously underwater pretty much means if you have a value to mortgage ratio or a mortgage to value ratio of 125%. So it means the mortgage that you have on the home is, let's say, $125,000, but the home itself is only worth $100,000. Well, there's a little bit of an issue there. It means you got you're seriously underwater, and that's a problem. But that's not for most people. For the people that bought a home, let's say in the past, couple years when home prices were still going up, it was just starting. You're perfectly fine. You are making money. Okay, you're good. You're sitting golden. But for those that, let's say, bought a home a couple months ago, right, the beginning of 2024, you may be having a tough time because your payments are so expensive compared to the home that you purchased. I want to show you something, though. Because, again, homeowners are going to benefit. Look at this. It says U.S. could give homeowners a $980 billion stimulus at no additional cost. Now, this has actually been tweaked a little bit because what they're saying is that there's about $11 trillion in equity in people's homes that they have not tapped. So if we can take out, let's say 80% of the $11 trillion in equity, that's pretty good. What is that, like 8 point some trillion dollars we can take out in equity? That right there, bringing $8 trillion of additional money into the market to buy stocks and food and cars and real estate, everything's going up. But who does that benefit? Benefits those with a home, with real estate, with a business, with stocks. Again, the rich are going to get richer, the poor will get poorer. I want to read you another thing though. This is what I think is very interesting. Social Security is supposed to be this anti-poverty measure. But based off of the recent reports that we've been getting, about 66 million people here in the United States receive some form of a Social Security payment every single month. Well, out of those 66 million people, they say 7 million people that are collecting Social Security already live in poverty. Here's where things could get worse. Congress is having a very difficult time trying to pass any bill. And it doesn't matter if it's a bipartisan bill or not, they're struggling to get a bill passed. One of the things that has to be worked on within the next handful of years is some type of Social Security reform. Because as of right now, and based off the latest statements, Social Security was supposed to become insolvent, or the Social Security Trust Fund would become insolvent in 2034. That's 10 years away. However, things changed, and they actually pushed that date back by 1 year. So that means in 2035, Social Security's trust fund would become insolvent, meaning every single Social Security recipient would see about a 22% decrease in benefits every single month. Well, this is where things get interesting. We already know 7 million Social Security recipients are living in poverty. If you take an additional 22% cut to your benefits, keep in mind about 66 million people receive a Social Security payment every single month. Well, they say that number could be up over 50%. That we could see 50% of Social Security recipients would then be living in poverty, meaning about 33 million people would be living in poverty that are collecting Social Security, which is considered the anti-poverty measure. Again, this is a major issue. Now, I want to explain one last thing. The concern right now is that we are about to see the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And one of the reasons why is obviously because of real estate. We are seeing a supply and demand issue across many states. Look at this. This article from CNBC says 10 U.S. cities where home prices increased the most this year. 4 are in Illinois. One of the reasons why 4 of these cities are in Illinois is because of supply and demand. There are tens of thousands of people that have come into the U.S., some legally, some not, and many of which are making their way up to Colorado, up to Illinois, and to New York. Here's the problem. There's a supply issue. We don't have enough housing. Because of this, we are seeing home prices go up. It's not because migrants are coming in and buying up all the homes. Just to give you that quick little heads up, it's not happening. Migrants aren't coming in with $100,000 in cash and 2 years of work history to be able to even get a loan. So the people coming out saying that migrants are buying the homes, they're not. Migrants are coming together. Got a family of 2 or 3 over here, got a family of 2 or 3 over here that become friends on the walk, from the U.S.-Mexico border up to the U.S. And guess what? They decide, let's go to the same city. They become friends. Their kids are hanging out. They like each other. They get an apartment together. Okay? So those people get an apartment together. They overpay for it, but they get an apartment together. Being that they overpaid for it, the landlord is more than likely to kick the person out, evict them, like time to go. Right? You're on a month-to-month lease. Well, the end of this month, you got to go because I got somebody paying double that's going to live in this exact same apartment. Guess what happens to those people that now got kicked out? Well, many times they go and try to buy a home. This is why home prices are going up, because more people are out there looking. Again, we have low inventory. The other issue is that just the other day, or just yesterday, we saw that the 30-year and the 15-year fixed rate mortgages went down. They went down. They plummeted. This is good news for home buyers, but who's it going to benefit? The rich. The poor, not so much. So here's what I can tell you. Right now, we are seeing that about 38 million people are going to get screwed because according to the recent report, 38 million people here in the United States are considered poor. Now, I want to tell you one last thing. As we see more and more money come into the markets, because we know Congress isn't going to start cutting Social Security, they're not going to start cutting certain budgets and things like that. We are going to continue to see this deficit grow. But as it grows, just understand, the people that are going to benefit the most are going to be the rich. And it doesn't have to be rich financially. Okay, you can have a rich lifestyle where you have a house, you have a business, right? You have stocks. You have that rich lifestyle, not necessarily $2 billion sitting in the bank. Okay? So, I just wanted to share this with you because I know a lot of people are concerned about what's happening, and they were applauding that the Dow Jones hit $40,000. Honestly, I absolutely love it. But again, I also own stocks, also own real estate, also own businesses. Keep in mind, the rich are about to get richer and the poor are going to get poorer. So, I was getting more information on this. I promise I'll fill you in on all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.